Crazy hot mess today, so I am not going to be on video today, but we are going to go over questions 31 through 38, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, it says, which of the following is the proper conversion into y-intercept form? Y-intercept form is also called slope-intercept form. So what we want to do is get the y by itself. So we are starting out with negative x plus 3y equals 12. Well, to start getting the y by itself, we need to get rid of everything else but the y. So let's start by getting rid of this negative x. To get rid of a negative x, you want to add x to both sides. This is going to cancel, and you're left with 3y on the left and x plus 12 on the right. And the reason we didn't put the 12 first is because in slope-intercept form, you want the x to come before the other number. And then we need to get rid of everything else but y, which means this multiplying by y, the y is being multiplied by 3, so we need to do the opposite and divide both sides by 3. And when we divide both sides by 3, that means everything on the right side needs to be divided by 3. This cancels because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times y is y. And then we have x divided by 3 plus 12 divided by 3, which is actually 4. Now, none of these answers say x divided by 3 plus 4, but when we divide something by 3, it is the exact same thing as multiplying by 1/3. So we could also write this as y equals 1/3 times x plus 4, which is answer choice C. Okay, let's move on. Which expression is equivalent to 1/4 times 12 minus 3x? Well, when we multiply something times 1/4, it's the same as dividing by 4. So 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. And then 1/4 times 3x, well, if we do 1/4 times 3, we multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4, so that would be 3/4. And don't forget your x. And then bring down that negative or subtraction sign. So 3 minus 3/4 x, which is A. Okay, here we are just plugging in numbers. So right now we have 2 times x squared minus 4 times y squared. And our x is 2, so 2 times 2 squared minus 4 times y, and our y is negative 3 squared. Remember, when we have order of operations, we want to make sure to do our exponents first. So 2 squared is actually 4. Bring down everything else. And negative 3 squared is actually 9, because negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. Now I'm going to continue my order of operations, and the next thing I need to do is multiply. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 4 times 9 gives me 36. And then 8 minus 36 gives me a negative 28, which is D. Which of the following quantities is variable? Variable means it changes depending on your it changes. I'm thinking of dependent and independent variable, and one changes based on the other. But here we're just talking about something that is variable. Variable just means it can change. So a number of minutes in an hour, there's always going to be 60 minutes in an hour, so that's not going to change. Number of inches in a foot, again, 12 inches are always in a foot. That is not going to change. The length of a person's arm. Well, babies' arms are different than when you grow up. Your arm gets bigger and longer, so that is going to change. Length of the Brooklyn Bridge is not going to change. That is the same length it's always been. So I guess you could build onto that, but we're not getting into that. The length of the Brooklyn Bridge is not variable. It is not going to be changing. Okay, so our answer choice here is C. Okay, which of the following pairs of lines are parallel? So remember, when we have parallel lines, it means we have the same slope. The slopes are the numbers in front of x. So we're looking for the same numbers in front of x. This is 2/7 and -2/7. Those are not the same. We have -2 and 1/2. Again, not the same. We have -1/2 and -1/2. These are the same. We have 2/3 and -3/2, and that's not the same. So our answer choice here is C. Jennifer has 14 coins that total $2.15. She only has dimes and quarters. Remember, dimes are worth 10 cents and quarters are worth 25 cents. If she only has dimes and quarters, how many dimes does she have? How I would start this problem is start with your $2.15 and then keep subtracting your dimes until you get something that is that the quarters can go into evenly, because quarters cannot go into 15 cents evenly. So I'm going to subtract 10 cents, and this is actually going to take longer than if you would do it on your cell phone, or not on your cell phone, on your calculator, which is on my cell phone. But this would be $2.05, and if we subtracted 10 cents again, okay, we're going to get $1.95. If we subtract 10 cents again, that's $1.85. I'm still not to something that a quarter can go into evenly. 10 cents, and that's $1.75. Okay, so right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dimes. And I got to something that a quarter can go into evenly. So if we think about how many quarters are in $1.75, 4 quarters are in $1, and then 3 more quarters for your 75 cents. So that's 7 quarters total. But 7 quarters and 4 dimes only equals 11 coins. So that's not what we want. We want 14 coins. So we need to keep going with our dimes. So we're at 175. We're going to subtract another dime. That's 165 minus another dime. 155 minus another dime. 145 minus another dime. Another dime. 135 minus another dime, and that's 125. Again, we got to a next stop where our quarters will go into evenly. So let's count how many dimes this is now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dimes. And we need to think about how many quarters will go into $1.25. 4 quarters in $1, and then 1 more quarter equals $1.25. So that's 5 quarters. And if we added 9 plus 5, we would get 14, and that's 14 coins total. The question asked how many dimes does she have? Well, she's got 9 dimes, and that is answer choice D. Okay, it says, which property of real numbers is this an example of? Well, if we've got 2 plus 5 plus 4, I always like to first look at the placement of the numbers, so that's going to tell you a lot. And 2 plus 5 plus 4. Notice that my numbers are in the exact same order here as they are here. That is the associative property. When you are just changing the parentheses, so now that the parentheses are around your 5 and your 4 versus your 2 and your 5, and you did not change the order of the numbers, that is the associative property. If you change the order of the numbers, for example, if this was 2 plus 5 plus 4, and it changed to 5 plus 2 plus 4, okay, if you change the order of the numbers, that's commutative property. If you are distributing numbers, meaning it would look something like this. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 5 is 10. which would be 18. Okay. So having a number on the outside and you're multiplying it by both of the numbers on the inside, that is the distributive property. And then your identity property is just when you multiply something times 1. So the identity property is like this. 8. Or if you're doing the property of addition, it would be 8 plus 0 equals 8. When you add something to 0, it's always that number, identical to itself. And when you are multiplying any number times 1, that number is also identical to itself. So our answer choice here, long story short, is C, associative property of addition. Okay, if 20 yards of carpet weighs 30 pounds, so 20 yards weighs 30 pounds. I always like to set up proportions when I see something like this, 2 units. How much does 34 yards weigh in pounds? 34 yards would go on top, and we don't know how many pounds that is on bottom. So now we're just cross multiplying. You can use your calculator to do this. 34 times 30 gives us 1,020, and that is equal to 20x. And to solve that, we need to divide both sides by 20. This cancels because 20 divided by 20 is 1, and 1 times x is x. And then 1,020 divided by 20 gives us 51. So our answer here is 51 pounds. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I miss you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. And I will see you next time.